Many thanks for joining us on Good Morning Abuja, showing on the Unity Station NCA Channel 5 Abuja. Now, we all know the importance, or let me say, we all come from schools and we all have associations. But what is the relevance of all these associations? We will be talking to my guest who will throw more light on that. And I have in the studio Dr. Paul Iheseken. He's the Akioba Global PRO. And I have engineer Ochoyame Akioba Chairman, Abuja branch. Welcome to the studio. Good to have you. All right. So we will be talking about the relevance of old school associations, and all of us come from either one school or the other. And most people would say they don't even they come from schools but don't belong to any of these associations. They don't see the relevance, and other people are neck deep into it. Please, could you tell us the meaning? I just introduced you and said that something about Akuba, but my viewers wouldn't know what that is. Can you tell us the meaning of Akuba?
Thank you very much. October simply means Annunciation Catholic College, Irua Old Boys Association. We were formed since 1975 and is an association of students who went through Annunciation Catholic College, Irua, an all boys school. And from then, there has been developmental strides that we, like a second or third generation, are carrying on. And thank you for the invitation to come and share our experiences with you on this channel. We thank you.
All right, thank you so much for throwing that light, for telling us what Akuba means, and it's been there since 1975. That's how many years now?
That's 50 years.
Wow, that's a long time. Sir, could you tell us the relevance or importance of old school associations? Because there are many, and a lot of people don't even belong to any. And some are, as I said in my introductions, are neck deep into activities of old school associations. Could you tell us the relevance, sir?
Yeah, the relevant, we will say, is tied to a human behavior because the human being is a person who is created to relate with one another. During your school days, you have formed bonds, especially at a young age with people you come to meet during your school days. So with the Alma Mater Association, the Old Boys Association like ours, it gives us opportunity to be able to relate with that bond we form at that young age when we're still in the college. And then now that we are grown, we are adults, we are able to carry on with that friendship that we had those periods. With that friendship, we're able to support each other in one way or the other. And then in this during this process too, we are able to give back to our alma mater, the college we come from. And that is the relevance of having this kind of group.
Wow, great. That's good to know. So, why are you here now? Why are you in the studio here now? Tell us about that.
Okay, thank you very much. You rightly introduced me as the global PRO. We're in the studio to showcase to Nigerians and the world at large what it means to give back to your alma mater. My colleague just talked about it as one of the relevance of old students associations. Um, in the last decade or so, government support for school has dwindled because government finances had dwindled. And so many schools had to suffer lack of facilities and even teachers. And so it became more imperative for us to intervene. Um, in the last 8 years specifically, um, our old boys, Akioba Global, has invested over 3 billion naira into our alma mater and Association Catholic College, Yoruba Old Boys Association. We have executed so many projects that this year, incidentally, is the 70th anniversary of the establishment of the school. So we are celebrating the platinum jubilee anniversary in March. The school was actually established in January 1955. So we are 70 years. So it's a week-long event. And in that week-long event, we are going to be commissioning projects executed and completed. I'm not talking of projects that are being started.
Okay.
There's so many. We will share with you some of the pictures and videos. For example, as we speak now, as we speak now, we have projects that are completed. For example, all the roads in that school have been asphalted. All. I don't mean some. I mean all.
Okay.
And you all mean the school sits on a 1 kilometer square plot of land. So all the roads have been asphalted. Of course, you know what it means. These were paid for by old students all over the world. And then because the school lost, they were no longer boarding students. So the school, we decided 6 years ago that we want to reintroduce boarding facilities. We got the approval of the state government. And as I speak to you now, we have built 5 hostels. Each has the carrying capacity of 140 students. Of course, modern, brand new, not the type we were in our time. Um, international standard, you know. And then within this period, we have also built um, the school hall that can seat 1,200 students,
Okay.
courtesy of these old boys. Also, in the last 2, 3 years, we completely demolished and rebuilt the principal's house, rebuilt the vice principal's house, and have also built four, four staff quarters. All these are in the videos and pictures we'll share with you. We have also built the Corpus Lodge. I mean, it has about 6 rooms, all en suite, just for corpus alone. In a bid to revamp education, the old boys, Global. Global is actually means an aggregation of various branches. Basically, we have the Abuja branch, the Lagos branch, the Port Harcourt branch, the Benin branch. We have the North America branch that comprise USA, Mexico, and Canada.
Wow.
We have
Old
the
school, old boys are everywhere.
Yeah,
US, we
sure,
have
All
sure.
Europe
right.
branch, we have UK branch. So all the resources come together to execute some of these projects. In order to enable the boarding facilities to start, we had to sink 3 boreholes such that there is no shortage of water at any point in time. Um, so that, and then one of our old boys single-handedly built a medical center for us. Medical center is not just a sick bay. We're talking of a 20-bedded hospital
Within the school
within the
premises.
school. They are in the videos and pictures we will share with you.
Okay.
And of course, the students are not going to be sick all the time. So that clinic or hospital, because 20-bedded hospital is a hospital, not just a clinic, has been, we have contracted the Sisters of Divine Love, DDM, to manage them for us because they are healthcare managers. They are managing it for us, of course, to cater to the students in the boarding house and to the community. They are accessible. And of course, we have been able to secure insurance to ensure they are covered. Part of the, as they are admitted, they pay for insurance such that when they are sick, they don't need to pay from their purse.
That's really a lot the
Yes,
old boys are
yes.
doing. We will hold that thought there and we'll take a break. When we come back, we can continue. We go on a short break now, and when we come back, my guest will still be in the studio. So go nowhere and enjoy our conversations after the break. Welcome back from that short break. My guests, as I promised, are still in the studio. Um, Before we went on that break, you were telling us about all the achievements that are already in place, that have already been put in place by the old boys associations of Akioba. And that's so much. I must say, I must commend you, the association, for all they have been doing. Well done. So, but how has this association been able to reach out to all old boys, and how has it been able to make an impact in their lives? Because after graduation, a lot of things happen. For some people, they make great achievements. For some, it comes slowly. How has the association been able to carry everyone along?
Yeah. One of the ways is that the strategy we use is this thought, what is in it for me? So we are always very much concerned about the welfare of our members. So we take care of our members, and anytime you hear about this is an old boy of Akuba, you are interested as that person is your blood brother, and so you are interested in what is going on with him. So this is a first attraction for all old boys of various categories, whether social or whatever, wherever you are called to in life. That attracts the old boys to come together. And then when we come together, we look out for each other's welfare. Notably, for example, we have the insurance cover for members who subscribe to it so that in case there are any issues, where they are able, we come to their aid through the insurance. And then we also have even the medical insurance that old boys fit into. Perhaps you are a private employee, or you don't have the facility around you to be able to take care of yourself medically. When you fit into this medical insurance program, in case of health challenges, you are able to tap into it. In some branches too, like in Abuja branch, we have a savings scheme, savings and loan scheme, so that members contribute to this purse. And when members are having challenges financially, they are able to draw loan at with what you will not get in the regular commercial area like the banks. You're able to get soft loan to be able to support yourself. So these are many ways that you attract old boys. And then there is something that is also unique about Acuba. We have that mindset of serving, and it comes from what we call the Acuba DNA, and that's also taken from the motto of our school, knowing the right and doing the right. So that if you made an average Acuba, is always with a willingness to serve the other person. So with that, when you come into Acuba, you have that spirit of people ready to serve you and you serving others, then it becomes an attractive society. And that's what keeps us together as school boys.
Wow,
Thank you.
that's great.
Thank you, Chief.
So, are
Can
you
I add a word to what she's just said?
okay?
Okay, in our January meeting here in Abuja, one of our old boys, the son, had a challenge. He needed surgery, and he didn't have money to do the surgery. And one of our members opted to pay for it and was paid for. You
Okay.
see, that's the bond we share. No sacrifice is too much for to do for another person. But the projects you have heard are less than one third of the projects really
Okay.
that we have.
Those you've
Yeah,
outlined
that
already.
line, they are less than one third. I can tell you that as we speak, Akioba Global has an endowment fund that's in excess of 250 million in naira and over 200,000 in dollars. What is it for? It is meant such that that school will forever have a means to sustain itself. And because of that, the proceeds from those funds, these funds were raised by members, not by angels, raised by members. The proceeds from them are used in running the various scholarships program. For example, if you're an indigent student and you're admitted to that school, you will enjoy the scholarship. If you are an exceptionally gifted child and you are admitted to that school, you enjoy the scholarship, irrespective of whether your parents can afford it or
Or
not.
not. Okay, thank
Uh,
you so much, sir, for throwing that light. Now, in very few words, like in 30 seconds or 1 minute at most, I understand there's a reunion happening very soon. Can you tell us when that is happening, where it is happening, and the nitty gritties in 30 seconds?
Thank you very much. The 70th anniversary, that is the Platinum Jubilee, is holding from the 24th of March to the 29th of March 2005 at the school grounds at Irwa in Edo State. Many programs have been lined up. We are going to be doing community medical services free of charge to Irwa community. We will be visiting the palace to pay homage. And the executive governor of Edo State has been invited to grace the occasion because there are about 23 projects to be commissioned, brand new projects to be commissioned. Of course, we're also going to be giving awards to some of these outstanding old boys that have contributed immensely. Some have spent in excess of 200 million, one person. And then, of course, we're going to be having a global dinner night where everybody will come around and we'll play and talk like we used to do as children in the school. It's going to be fun. And then we also are inviting many other dignitaries. The essence is that what we have done in Akioba, the Edo State government acknowledges that it is novel. There is no school in Edo State that has done that, even as we speak. So we want to show to Nigerians that we must not always wait on government, even though it is government responsibility to fund schools. Um, but we must always wait for government because the resources are not there. We know it. So whatever we can do to add value to the school so that the students can enjoy the school, we will do.
Okay.
Just to inform you that in the last 7 years, no students who wrote SSCE or NECO in that school paid by itself. They are paid for by 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 old boys.
Well, thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
That's a lot the old boys are doing. I loved the smile on your face when you talked about the gala night. I could just see that your faces were lighted up already because of that. Thank you so much for coming to our studios, Dr. Paul Iheseken, Akioba Global PRO, and Engineer Smart Ochoyame, Akioba Chairman, Abuja Branch. Thank you so much for
Thank you
coming to
very
the
much
studio.
for having us.
All right. This is the much we can take on this segment of Good Morning Abuja. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, this show still continues. So please stay with us on the Unity Station. Welcome back from that short break. It's Good Morning Abuja, showing on NTA Channel 5, the Unity Station. Now, patriotism is something we all are aware of, and we must put all hands on deck to ensure that we are patriotic. If not, of course, our nation will not progress. I have in the guest to talk more on that, and he is in person of Apostle Edward Nampan Dafahot. He is author of The Biblical Origin of Nigeria. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good to have you in the studio.
Thank
So
you.
we will be discussing Dare to be Patriotic. I like the topic. Alrighty. All right, please, as a starter, in
Yeah.
very basic, simple terms, can you tell us what it means to be patriotic?
Yeah, patriotism in that simply means love for one's nation.
Okay.
Yeah, love for one's nation, being loyal to one's nation, being committed or dedicated to one's nation. But I think there's another definition that's making me so excited. That is having a nationalistic spirit. I think I like that. Maybe because I'm a pastor. Yeah, but having a nationalistic spirit. I like that word, spirit for the nation. Yeah.
So, your definition of being patriotic, it just made me think. Are there people that don't love the nation? You are. This is where you are from, and
Yes,
how can you
yes.
now hate it? Are there people that do not
Of
have love?
course, there are. For instance, a classical example is this: when the opportunity comes in to either love yourself or the nation, which one do you choose most? Most people choose self rather than the nation. So if what is presented to them is going to benefit them, they want to go with that rather than going for things that will benefit ultimately the entire nation. So there are people in that sense that, yeah, I would say everybody has a level of patriotism, but so many people levels of patriotism is low. But like I said in the definition, is the spirit of patriotism. So everybody has, but at different measure. Yes,
That's great. So, our nation has gone through. There was a time we were under military rule, and now we are in a democracy.
yeah.
Why is it important, especially in a democracy, to be patriotic to your nation?
Yeah, it's very, very important because nation building doesn't start up down. Nation building start bottom up.
Oh,
You understand? So in democracy, the reason patriotism is very, very key is because it's the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So if this is our government and we need to have the country grow, then the citizenry have to develop a lot of patriotism in order to drive the nation. Sadly, each time we talk about patriotism, a lot of us think Mr. President, the governor, the minister, but no, it doesn't start with them. It starts with the citizenry because this is democracy. So patriotism is very, very critical in nation building, without which the country, it doesn't matter how much Mr. President or the governor is doing. If the citizens' level of patriotism is low, the country will not go far.
okay. In what way has history shaped our current understanding of patriotism? Because everything you do, they say a people that forget its history cannot go forward because, of course, you don't have anything, you don't have the
That's true.
background
That's true.
to lay your
That's
foundations
true.
on. So, in what way has history shaped our current understanding of patriotism?
Yeah. Sadly, even though we started in a very, very patriotic pedestal during the First Republic, talking about our founding fathers, very patriotic people indeed. But after the 1966 crisis, the entire thing changed. And so rather than building on the founding fathers, probably the military mentality started creeping into our sense of patriotism. So that really created a lot of confusion so that you have people whose level of patriotism, instead of increasing, it kept declining and declining, and people don't longer care about the country. All they care is themselves, themselves, themselves. And so, in terms of history, yeah, it has have a lot of, well, that's a negative impact on our level of patriotism. We couldn't, develop our patriotic level to the way we expected because of some of the military intervention that happened in the course of our history as a nation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. You took us down memory lane for us to, to buttress that point. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so how can one balance the love for self? Because you spoke about people. It's not like people not loving the nation, but when you put certain things, they will choose themselves over the nation. How can this be balanced? Love for self, love for personal achievement, and love for nation. How can all of this be, you know?
Yeah, beautiful. So it's
Instead of love for self,
yeah.
for personal achievements, love
Mm.
for ethnicity.
Mhm.
That's the word I should have used.
Okay. So striking a balance between love for nation and ethnicity, right?
Yes, and
Okay.
love for ethnicity.
Yes. So you see, our ethnic nationality is a microcosm of the bigger picture called Nigeria. So it's like I want to give you 100 naira bill for your personal use, and then there's another 1,000 naira bill for the nation. Which one will you pick?
Oh, okay. I'm actually supposed to answer.
Yeah, yes.
Oh, okay. I think I'll pick that of the nation.
Exactly. Why? Because you are in the nation. So if the country or the nation progresses, somehow, you partake in it. But if the country goes down, it doesn't matter how much money you have. If the country is on fire, your money will not help you, right? The amount of food you have in your store will not help you. But if the nation is secure and protected, everybody is secure. You understand that? So, in balancing between love for self and love for the nation, all you need to do is that love you have for yourself, extend that same love to your nation. So, the same way you protect your interests, protect the interests of the nation. The same way you provide for yourself, when the opportunity comes to provide for the nation, please do. The same way you don't want anything that will stop you from moving forward. So any opportunity that comes in that the country needs to go forward, please support the nation because it's like a vehicle. You are in the vehicle called Nigeria. So imagine you are in a vehicle and then the vehicle is on fire. Will you stay in the vehicle? Definitely not. But when you protect the entire vehicle, everybody in the vehicle is safe. Then we can drive to our El Dorado. We can drive to the new Nigeria that we all hope someday we'll get into. Amen.
So, all right. I love my country. I would do anything for it. But how do I show that this love for my country is there? How do I show love for my country?
Very, very simple. It's like love for yourself, right? You love yourself so you won't take substances that will hurt you. You love yourself so you won't expose yourself to danger or hazard. In the same way, for instance, let's say this studio is Nigeria, right? Okay, so how can I demonstrate my love for my country? Three things actually. Number one of the indicators or indices that shows you love your country is in your ability to protect the interests of the country. So you don't say negative things about the country. Like we said, dare to be patriotic. I know it's very difficult not to say negative things about Nigeria. Yeah, but a patriotic man will look at the positive things happening in the country rather than looking at the negative things. Every nation have their crisis. But a man who loves his country will like to project those positive vibes, those positive energy that the country is standing upon. And then number two thing you do is you provide for your country. You are a civil servant, for goodness sake, patriotic service. You are a police officer, patriotic service. You understand that? You are a businessman, you are a Gary seller in the market. Show love, serve Nigerians very well. You are a nurse, don't be rude to your patients. Be nice to them. You understand? And when you do that, it's a way of expressing your love to the country. And then finally, when you love your country, one of the things you do is you promote the country. So one of the things you can do to show love for country is to promote every opportunity you have to say something about your country. You promote it to the highest. Yeah, you promote it to the high level. These are three things. There are so many other things, but these are three things you can do to show that
To show
you,
love for
yeah,
the
yeah,
country.
to show patriotism.
All right, thank you so much. Very engaging conversation here. But we will pause here and go on a short break. When we come back, my guest will still be in the studio and we still will be talking about patriotism. Welcome back from that break. As I promised, my guest is still seated here, and what an interesting guest he is. His points are very apt. All right, thank you so much
Thank you, ma'am.
for still being with us. Now we're talking about daring to be patriotic
Yeah.
in the face of it all, in whatever situation. There are people that really can actually lay down their lives for this country,
Mhm.
but I would like to ask, why should they dare to be patriotic?
Very interesting question. Now, let's just zero this to the economic situation we find ourselves as a nation. It takes real courage to love Nigeria. The reason is because sometimes we see people who are patriotic, and rather than being compensated for their patriotic services, they get either sanctioned or they get blackmail on account of being patriotic. For instance, a classical example. As a patriotic citizen, I see something going wrong and I want to report to the Nigerian police, right? So I report a certain case, and then tomorrow I'm being threatened by the same people that I reported them. Why? Somebody passed that information. So in that kind of situation, you have two options. Should I continue to be patriotic and then risk my life unnecessarily, or I should go ahead? So in that kind of situation, you have to have the courage to say, in spite of all, I will be patriotic. I won't allow the challenges to stop me from being patriotic.
That's big.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know that in every society, the youth are the future of that society. Even in homes,
Yeah.
your children are the future of the home, the youth, the future of the nation, the society. With the influence or with the coming of social media, you find out that most youths are always, we're always like this. How has this, how has this affected being patriotic amongst youths?
Yeah. So, and for me, this is very big. In fact, we're living at the very best season and times of our life as Nigerians, where information just flows our fingertips. Now, all we need to do is to keep releasing. Thank God we have a national orientation agency. They should also go digital. You understand that? Most time, when you're snuffing your phone, before you know, adverts here and that will be popping in. They can also do the same thing with the message of patriotism. So that while they are surfing their internet and all of that, the message of patriotism is popping up. By so doing, that consciousness of patriotism will begin to register in our mind, and whatever we do, our schools. I'm developing something called the patriotic banner as part of the things I do to encourage young people from to be very very patriotic. And what is it about? It's about like 15 points of patriotism. So after the national anthem every day, they just recite that. I'm a patriotic Nigerian, and my mind is a green field. As simple as that is, as our children and students keep saying that to themselves every day, before you know it, it's registering in their mind. Oh, I'm a patriotic Nigerian, and my mind is a green field. I am productive. I'm intelligent. So simple, simple things like that will help to steer the consciousness of being patriotic to the younger generation and even the elder ones too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I introduced you as an author, and you just mentioned it now that in your book you wrote.
Yeah, some of the activities I do, yes.
Some of the activities you
Yeah.
do is writing.
Mhm.
Okay, so I would like you to tell us about the last book you authored.
Okay, so my last book sounds a little bit controversial, but it's real. It's titled "The Biblical Origin of Nigeria." Yeah, so it's it came in during my wedding, 1st October 2010, when I had this inspiration, and I was like, how can Nigeria be from the Bible? It's not possible. But after a lot of research, it became so clear to me that Nigeria dates way beyond 1914 amalgamation. No wonder they call us a religious nation. You understand that? So Nigeria this way, way, way beyond 1914. And that for me, it's a very, very strong message that in spite the challenges we are passing through, our foundation as a nation and our future is very, very secure. So it doesn't matter the little challenges we're facing here and there. Nigeria will definitely get to the promised land because our base is not political, it's spiritual.
That's powerful. And I love your spirit of patriotism. I can see Nigeria on your
Yeah,
chest.
my lapel.
Yes,
Okay, my
everything.
green pen.
Yes, everything is just Nigeria.
Thank you, ma.
Thank you so much for loving Nigeria, and I pray that this spirit from you goes through to
Amen,
everyone in
amen,
Nigeria,
amen,
so
amen.
our nation can go
Amen.
further
Amen.
than this.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you for coming
It's
to
my honor.
the
It's my
studio for
honor.
this program.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. It's been a lovely time with my guest, Apostle Edward Nampan Dapahot, and we've been talking about daring to be patriotic no matter the situation. Love for your nation should lead the way and propel us to do more for our nation. Ask not what your nation can do for you,
Yeah.
but what you can do for your nation.
Jeff
We
Kennedy.
go on a short break. When we come back, Good Morning Abuja continues.